Imagine your kids not just, coping with uncertainty, but actually embracing it with confidence. Picture them as these resourceful, adaptable people who are ready for pretty much whatever life throws their way. Well, in this explainer, we're going to unpack the practical, research-backed tools you can use to build that kind of powerful resilience within your family, turning that anxiety into real strength.
Does that hit home? Yeah, if that image resonates with you, you are definitely not alone. It's such a common feeling, right? This constant balancing act between keeping our kids safe and letting them be free, all while it feels like the world underneath us is constantly shifting. It is totally understandable to feel overwhelmed.
And look, these aren't just some vague anxieties in our heads. We are navigating challenges that previous generations never even had to think about. I mean, from the explosion of generative AI to the endless fights over screen time and the very real threat of cyberbullying, it's a lot. This constant barrage of information and new social pressures is exactly why building resilience has gone from a nice-to-have to an absolutely essential survival skill for our kids.
So, where do we even start? Well, resilience doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It has to be built on solid ground, and that begins with the most important piece of all, the foundation of security and stability that we create right inside our own homes. This idea of a secure base is the absolute bedrock of resilience. Think about it. Secure attachment is that deep, gut-level trust your child has that you've got their back no matter what. When they know their essential needs are covered, it frees them up to go out, to explore, to take healthy risks, and to learn from their mistakes, because they know they always have a safe harbor to come back to. And we build that secure base with three main pillars. First, you've got the non-negotiables: food, shelter, medical care. Second, their emotional needs, really seeing them for who they are, respecting their unique personality, and cheering them on. And third, and this one is so powerful but often gets overlooked, is structure. Here's a key insight from the research. A chaotic family environment is incredibly stressful for a child because it just mirrors the chaos of the outside world. But consistent rules and predictable routines, they create this internal sense of order that acts like a direct antidote to all that uncertainty out there.
Okay, so once that foundation is in place, we can shift our focus from the outside environment to our child's internal world. How we teach them to think and process their feelings, well, that's the next crucial piece of the puzzle. It's like we're helping them program an inner compass to navigate their own emotions.
We all have ways of coping with anxiety. Sometimes they're called defense mechanisms. But have you ever really thought about the difference between mature and immature ones? The immature strategies, like pretending a problem doesn't exist or blaming somebody else for how you feel, they might give you a little relief in the moment, but they usually create way bigger problems down the road. But the mature strategies, things like being able to notice your own feelings without judgment, or calmly stating your needs, or even finding a little humor in a tough situation, these are the tools that let a child manage anxiety productively and build real, lasting emotional strength. And this is where the power of mindset really kicks in. Just think about this quote for a second. What I focus on expands. My beliefs select the reality I see. If a child is always taught to focus on threats and what's going wrong, their world is naturally going to feel small and scary. But if we can show them how to focus on possibilities, on what they can control, and on their strengths, their entire perception of reality starts to change. And this shows us a really powerful link between our thoughts, our actions, and our feelings. You can't just tell a child, or yourself for that matter, to just feel better. Real change starts with an action or a thought. And as parents, we model this every single time we feel that wave of frustration rising and we choose to just take a few deep breaths. That pause, that's an action. And it changes our thoughts, which in turn changes how we feel and how we react. All right, this brings us to our final section, the practical toolkit. I want you to think of these as the tangible skills and strategies we can actively teach our kids. We've built the foundation, we've helped shape their mindset, and now we give them the actual tools they can use when life gets tricky. Let's kick things off with communication, because these tips are just so powerful. It sounds basic, but seriously, how often do we truly stop what we're doing and just listen? Making eye contact, not jumping in to finish their sentence, and then repeating back what you heard. Okay, so it sounds like you're feeling frustrated because that simple act sends a huge message. You are seen, you are heard, and you matter. It builds a foundation of trust so strong they'll feel safe coming to you with absolutely anything. Now, what about those challenges with friends or at school? For that, there is a fantastic 5-step process for social problem solving. Instead of letting them get trapped in an emotional reaction, this teaches them to slow down and think like a strategist. What's really going on here? What are all my options? What might happen if I try this or that? This framework moves a child from a place of feeling helpless to a position of true empowerment.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. Remember how we started with that image of parenting as a tightrope walk? Well, the foundation, the mindset, and this toolkit, these are the very things that turn that shaky walk into a confident journey. They are what make our families ready for anything.
This table just sums it all up perfectly, doesn't it? That secure foundation we built first, that's the safety net right below the tightrope, giving them security and catching them when they stumble. That resilient mindset we talked about, that's their core sense of balance, that internal ability to regulate their emotions and stay steady. And the toolkit of communication and problem-solving skills, that's the balancing pole they hold in their hands, the practical, external tools that give them leverage and control as they walk.
And you know, this really gets to the absolute heart of it all. Resilience isn't about creating a life that's free from challenges. I mean, that's impossible. It's about empowering our children with the confidence and the skills to face those challenges head-on. It's about teaching them to navigate stress, not run from it, so they can truly flourish in this beautiful, messy, and totally uncertain world. So, I'll leave you with this question to think about. Looking at everything we've covered, from active listening to that 5-step problem-solving method, what is one small, actionable tool that you can start practicing with your family this week? Because building resilience, that happens one conversation, one strategy, one moment at a time.